Hey, I'm Parker. Alright, we got some notes here. Today we're gonna be talking about obscure and disturbing media. More so just like examples and why we like it as much as we do. Alright, so from Eraserhead to Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared to the SCP Foundation. Um, a lot of us have this fascination with it. And I mean, not even just like people like me, like people all across the world find content like this just so fascinating, I guess. But the question is more so, why do we like it so much, or what draws us into things that make us so uncomfortable and unsettled? Like, why do I like the creepy crawly feeling of somebody possibly watching me? Like, there's a window right there and also right there. I don't like that window over there. But the answer of that question probably lies more along the lines of, we're curious little creatures that want to confront things that spook us. Or if you're not brave and you like to hide under the covers when the scary parts happen, like me sometimes. So the infatuation of it comes, I think it stems more so from the fact that mainstream media has become more and more predictable, the same tropes over and over again, and more indie media or obscure media, or stuff that's like meant to pound on your brain, is just an awesome deviation away from the same thing over and over and over again. You want something to think about, and you want something to make you jump out of your seat or to make your hair stand on end. You want something that maybe doesn't have a direct end to the story, maybe something that, after the credits finish and you just sat there in the theater, you're like, what did I just watch? And then you go on a deep dive, and then you, like for me with Eraserhead at least, I found it online, so I was able to go frame by frame by frame, or just scene by scene, to just try to figure out what it meant, because what did it mean, I mean, on top of things like that, or on top of things that become so fascinating that you can't help but watch it over and over and try to find every meaning that you can, there's more controversial things, or themes, like a Serbian film. I haven't watched it, not that I'm afraid to, it's just from what I've heard, it's extremely disturbing. But there's things also like the Human Centipede franchise, which I have watched multiple times because it was so disturbing, it was so fascinating. It was this experiment on humans by this crazy person, and then you have to see how it all plays out frame by frame, and you're like, just sat there watching it. Like, you can't look away from things like that, and that's something that I love. Honestly, don't I want to be forced to look on the look at the screen. I want to be forced to not look. I want it to be so, not traumatizing, but so appealing, to where, not even appealing, what is the right word for that? I don't know, you just become so focused on it. Something about it just draws you in so much in a morbid, disturbing way, where it's just, you can't look away. Regardless of how shocking it is, or just like how weird it is, all of these things have a fan base. They have a fandom. They have people on Twitter calling, the Babadook mother. There's communities online of like the SCP Foundation, who, anybody can build onto it. You yourself, you're not only a viewer, you're a creator of it. You are building that universe, word by word. If you don't know what the SCP Foundation is, it's basically just like an online forum where you can input stories of beings or creatures or objects or enigmas that are considered classified, that the public doesn't know about because they're a danger or too powerful, etc. And these are all like regular people writing. which is freaking awesome, by the way. You guys are so smart, and I'm so jealous that I can't write like you. But with things like the SCP Foundation, there's whole groups, there's website, there's YouTube videos. I've seen the YouTube videos on the SCP stuff. You guys go crazy. Good on you. It just builds such a deep connection within the community. Like, you guys are all working on that together, and that is so cool. That's exactly why all of these types of films do so well, because they spark community, they spark creativity, they spark inspiration to make your own thing. Like, I see you, Kane. You know, I see where you got your stuff from. I see where you got your inspiration from. You're not tricking anyone. Maybe some people, but not me. Sorry for all of that. I wanted this to be more about the brain side of things, but obviously that's not the case. I don't leave you yet. I give you a question. Why do we like it so much? What in our brains is telling us to, like, keep watching? Pulling out my notes here. Research shows that this type of content triggers a cocktail of emotions: fear, curiosity, even disgust. These emotions engage our brain's survival mechanisms, keeping us hyper-focused and deeply affected. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes when I'm watching those movies, my heart is beating out of my chest and I want to run. I want to run away from the screen. But I don't. Stupid me, you know. But I love the thrill of it. I love feeling so nervous for the characters. I love feeling the adrenaline of it. Like, having to stay seated in a theater where something on the screen is just telling every part of you to just scream and run and go away. But you're sat there just watching it because you're so focused on it you can't look away. I love that. And, you know, continuing on, when people watch disturbing media, at least when I do, it's like confronting a fear. But, you know, it's not like, oh, I saw a clown on the street, I confronted my fear and went up and talked to him. No, this is more like, you know, you're in a sterile environment. Like, this is like a lab experiment. You're in a sterile environment. You are, you know, with a group of, you know, professionals who are like, okay, you're safe here. Here's your safe word, or, you know, you can do this to get out of it. You're in a controlled environment facing your fear. And you have all the ability to, you know, pause it and come back to it later, or just turn it off completely and just forget about it, delete it off of your watch list. You know, you have control over that. And to the people who do push through that, you are awesome. And the fact that, and the ability to do that, it builds resilience. It gives you these coping mechanisms that can help you through, like, everyday problems, or even like the more extreme versions of everyday problems. As much fun as it is, I mean, I know my limits personally. That's why I haven't watched a Serbian film, and that's why I did turn off Megan is Missing, because I knew my limit and I could tell where it was gonna go, or, you know, I read the synopsis and it just wasn't something that I felt comfortable with. There's a risk that you take when watching films like these, that you know, if you're on the more, and I don't want to say sensitive because that just sounds rude, but if you're on the more, if you have more fear than others, I'll put it like that. If you have more fear than others, films like these can, you know, build up that anxiety, or build up, you know, that, like, overwhelming feeling, and it's okay to not watch it. You are under no obligation to watch things like that. And that's what's so good about living in this day and age, and, you know, having the autonomy that you do as a human. You know, beyond, you know, this type of media being, you know, for personal enjoyment, or for, you know, personal growth, this type of media gives, like, passion and ammunition to creative communities. Fans of Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, I've seen your edits on TikTok. I want to give all of you a little smooch on the head. You're amazing.
And maybe looking at you. Yeah. suppose I do.
Well, I like looking at you too.
Thanks.
And all of you, I saw the TV Glow editors get in my bed consensually.
Careful now, guy. That's doing too tight. Just like I asked to do.
We just grow a bond over it. We're able to talk about these things that, you know, not everybody's seen National Treasure. You know, National Treasure, great film. Love you, Nick Cage. But if I can talk to you about I saw the TV Glow, if I can talk to you about Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, trust me, we're gonna go get a drink after this. These communities that are built around this media or these types of media is just awesome. I mean, it gives people who don't feel like they belong anywhere else a place where they can call home. It is way too common that people feel so alienated or mistreated or misunderstood by mainstream culture that we deserve a space like that, and I'm very glad that we have it. To bring up controversy again, and to bring up like a Serbian film was Human Centipede or Cannibal Holocaust, it brings up interesting conversations, and some people are way more worried about it than they should be. It brings up conversations about, you know, morality and, you know, existence as a whole and society. But some normal people might view this as promoting violence or as harmful or exploitative, or they just don't like it. Obscure media just gives a path to different cultural trends and you know, boundary pushing, like I said before, and it makes you take risks. I know sometimes after I see a movie that really gets my blood pumping, I'm like, let me go draw something, or, you know, let me go film something, things like that. And they're so important because it promotes growth. It promotes growth in the film industry. It promotes growth for the directors and the writers. And especially if it pops off like the Human Centipede did, then it's like, of course you want to keep going with it. Of course you want to keep pushing those boundaries. Of course you want to show that stuff in theaters, because hell yeah, more money, I guess. Obscure media is able to bring up things that mainstream media isn't able to, and I'm not saying that it isn't able to. Mainstream media mainly just refuses to do it. Again, bringing up things like mental illness, existence, society, all those things. At the end of it all, enjoying obscure content or horror content or thriller content or indie content or content that isn't mainstream, even if it is violent or disturbing or disgusting or, you know, way too much, there's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong. If you feel ill, no. If you feel like you're being alienated by people for enjoying those things, you have a place with me. Like I said, you've got a spot with me. Get in line. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not a bad person. You're not broken. You're not wrong. You're not twisted. You're not sick. You have an explorative and creative and curious mind that needs the stimulation that obscure media can give you. And honestly, being able to explore the darkest corners of the human mind is so cool. And especially the people who come up with all the theories and all of the art. I wish I could make art like some of you guys can. Like, I'm like frothing at the mouth wanting to do that. If you feel you're most comfortable watching The Human Centipede, if you feel the most comfortable watching Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, if you feel the most comfortable watching Eraserhead, you have a home with me. Even if you don't feel like you have a home anywhere else, you have a home with me. Know your own boundaries. Like I said, I have my own boundaries when it comes to media. Know your own boundaries. Respect other people's boundaries, you know. I know all of us want to be able to share these films that we find with our friends, but if you're a friend, you know, a friend wouldn't push another friend to do something they wouldn't want to do. And if your kid's watching horror movies, you're not watching your kid. Sorry. I guess at the end of it all, enjoy your stuff. And speaking of enjoying your stuff, please tell me what type of obscure media you enjoy the most. Not even what type, give me lists. I want lists. I want breakdowns. I want why you like it. I'll even explain what I like. I mean, I already told you about Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, and I Saw the TV Glow. Did I tell you about Midsummer? Midsummer got so mainstream, but I think people missed the point. I Saw the TV Glow. Some of you are gonna come for me and say, that's not obscure, that's not horror, that's not thriller. I want you to understand that I went into that theater alone, by myself, which is fine. I love going to the theater by myself. I went to that theater alone. I was the only one in there. I'm a trans man. I watched that film. I sat through the whole thing. I walked out of that theater a different person. And I don't know what inside of me changed. I don't know why and how or what, but I walked out of there different. To me, that's enough to qualify as obscure, as disturbing, as horror. If it leaves you feeling some type of way afterwards, welcome to the family, I guess. Remember, guys, respect your boundaries, respect other boundaries. Comment down below what your favorite obscure films are, obscure series are here on YouTube, and just enjoy life. And I'm gonna go to bed. I just got home from work, so good night.